過ぎた季節が嘘だとしても重ねたぬくもりは嘘じゃない君が残した背中の傷跡は今もずっと甘くてだからずっと痛くて
Yo, what it do, guys? Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with another new fanfic story. This is The Children of the Future #1. Basically, this fanfic is about Izuku and him having multiple children with multiple women, actually. Basically, what if Izuku had a harem, but his children from the future come back to the past? Basically that. So yeah, honestly, it's a concept I've always thought about, and I've seen tons of fanfic stories about main characters having multiple kids with other female characters and love interests. And I want to see if I can probably do just as good as others can as well. So yeah. Also, if you guys don't really like it, I understand that as well. The concept is not as popular as I thought, but even so, I want to try it. So, with enough said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 0, the Prologue. Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, the new symbol of peace and the #1 hero of Japan. This young man, currently now age 31. Izuku has been through a lot during his younger years. The year when he was told that he was quirkless, the countless years of him being physically beaten and mentally abused by his former friends and classmates as a kid as well. And even told over and over again to give up on his dream on being a hero. He's been through so much until he met his idol. He met the man who would give him the chance to be the hero he was always dreamt of being. A hero that was always there for others, with a smile on his face to protect the innocent and reassure them that everything will be okay. That's the kind of hero he once dreamt of being. However, with everything that has gone through, with facing against the League of Villains, fighting against Stain, also fighting against the Chiha Saikai, the Paranormal Liberation Front, being a temporary vigilante for a short time, face against the League and the Paranormal Liberation Front in another war, and also his final battle with both Shigaraki and All for One at once. The battles have left him somewhat broken, beaten, but still standing. And through it all, he ended up defeating All for One and saving his enemy that was once Tomura Shigaraki back to Tenko Shimura. And all of this during his first and second year at UA High. Little after that, only a couple of skirmishes from time to time, faced against remnants of the Paranormal Liberation Front, a couple of, rejected or not barely finished nomus by Dr. Adaraki, and a couple of people who took up Shigaraki's ideology, many other copycat villains, or those who still believe in Shigaraki's words. But even so, Izuku, alongside many of his friends and former classmates, all keep up the good fight and keep the air of peace that he doesn't do all on his own like his mentor or his predecessor, All Might, but alongside his friends, his comrades, and his new family. And little did he know, he would end up having one big family after all, because he doesn't just end up with Uraraka. He ends up with so many other girls who care for him, who love him, and who've always cared deeply about him. From Melissa Shields to Mei Hatsune to Suyu Asui to Himiko Toga, Rumi Isagayama, aka Miriko, and also Kaina Sasumi, or otherwise known as Lady Nagant. And that's not just all. That also being Fuyumi Todoroki, Shino Sasaki, aka Mandalay, and also Setsuna Tokage as well, with one more girl as well who joined, who's also one of Izuku's many wives as well, being Ipan Josei, a woman that he saved during his time as a vigilante who fell for him. With that, Izuku was utterly dumbfounded with not only that, he never actually believed that all these girls, all these women would fall in love with him. And weirdest thing is that each and every one of them confessed to him in different moments of his life. When it came to Ochako, Suyu, and Mei, they confessed to him like soon after they graduate from UA. Izuku was completely caught off guard by this entirely. And to be honest, he didn't want to, just choose one of them because he didn't want to break their hearts. He cared about all three of them, and he actually had feelings for all three of them as well. But he didn't want to break the other two's hearts and just choose one. With all three girls realizing this and saying that they're okay with sharing Izuku. With that, Izuku once again caught off guard by the suggestion, with then Uraraka basically saying that she's always loved Izuku no matter what. With even Suyu has always admired Izuku and always wanted to be by his side, helping him. And Hatsume, originally, Mei only cared about keeping her favorite guinea pig and her favorite hero subject after all. But over time, she truly does care about Izuku and always wanted to keep him safe with her support items. That Izuku couldn't help but accept their, confession and be with all three. However, it wasn't just that too. Even Setsuna Tokage, who also had a crush on Izuku, but given that they didn't spend a lot of time together, even as, the years gone down, she didn't know how to approach her fellow Greenette, actually. But during their time as sidekicks for other agencies, they ran into each other from time to time, taking care of villains, saving civilians, and many other things as well. But with those many encounters, the two ended up becoming close and closer, with even bringing up that she had a crush on Izuku during their time at UA, with Izuku taken back by this, with he also making the comment saying that given that it's been a long time since then, I'm guessing you don't have a crush on me? With then hearing that she hasn't said anything, he's saying, Tokage? With she looked, what if I never got over the crush? But then Izuku completely caught off guard by that. With that, they start dating, with even telling, Ochako, Suyu, and Mei as well. With three girls somewhat kind of pissed. However, they did want to meet with Setsuna as well. with wanting to ask, does she really care about Izuku? Does she truly love him? With that, she's saying with all of her heart. Soon after, Izuku, with events after events, many things began to happen actually. With many women that Izuku actually cared about a lot, began wanting to get closer and closer with him, and also admit that they've been in love with him since due to his past actions for them. For example, during his time at Island with Melissa came to Japan at first to expand her support items by working alongside May actually. However, she admits that she's always been in love with Izuku since their time at Island and saving it from that of Wolfram and his men. The two started dating. Then there's also Fuyuki Todoroki, who always admired Izuku for being the one to save her brother from himself, from his pain of the past. And because of that, she fell for him as well. Then there's Toga as well, which she's always loved Izuku, but she wants to know if it was genuine love or an obsession. Not only that, with even Izuku actually wanting to help Toga after realizing her past, everything that she's gone through, with even Ochako, who couldn't help but despise Himiko at first for everything that she's done, but now start to empathize with her actually, with trying their best to help her innovate back into society, but also still able to be herself without having to pretend to be something that she's not, but without having to hurt others to get what she wants and to be who she wants. After at least a couple years or so, she also became one of Izuku's many lovers. And there was also Kaina Susumi, aka Lady Nagant, and Rumi as well, being Mirako. Kaina, or Lady Nagant, for example, actually admired Izuku for being the one to basically bring her out of the darkness after years of being an assassin for the Hero Public Safety Commission, and also saving her for herself as well. She couldn't help but admire the boy, and then that admiration turned into love. Mirako, on the other hand, always, wanted to fight Izuku constantly, given that he's now the new number one after just a couple of years of being a pro. She basically wanted to show the new rookie, basically, on still who's on top, even though the rankings say otherwise. However, she's always got her ass kicked constantly over and over again, especially after mastering all the quirks of One for All. With that, even with her new robotic arm to replace the old one, she still always loses. With having drawn to Izuku's strength, power, and skill, she couldn't help but see Izuku as her one true love for so long. And Izuku has always admired Mirako as well, even back then when he was a kid as well, back in his middle school days. Then there's also Shino Sasaki, aka Mandalay of the Wild Wild Pussycats, which she's always, cared a lot about Izuku ever since the day that he saved Koda from Muscular and even gave him back his hope within heroes. Because of Izuku, Koda even training hard to become a hero just like Izuku as well. After meeting the Greenette boy, she never really thought of ever finding somebody to settle down with, given her career as a pro hero and the member of the Pussycats after all. But always trying to, spend time with Izuku, getting to know him even more, she realized that she truly found the one, and that being the same boy or same man that ended up saving her cousin. And last but not least, Ipen Jose, which she's always admired Izuku ever since when faith in heroes started to wane, civilians started taking things into their own hands, and she was almost attacked by a bunch of scared civilians just because of her mutation quirk. It was Izuku who saved her, who protected her, and who gave her hope. Even admiring Izuku for all these years after everything that has happened, she fell in love with the young pro hero. With as many of the times that they spent together were mostly her trying to, always see where Izuku is going to be at when he's on patrol. Sometimes she always gets a chance, and sometimes she doesn't. And most of the time, Izuku does end up saving her. Throughout these encounters, Izuku also wanted to thank her for so long, because when he came back to UA, it was her and Koda that, alongside Uraka, that saved him as well. And because of that, they ended up being together as well. With her being the last one, Izuku has at least up to 11 wives, with many of them caring deeply about the Greenette boy so much, with them even having tons of kids, with many of Izuku's kids inheriting at least one of his traits or several of his traits, but mostly many of their mother's traits actually. But even so, they all inherit one thing from their father that they all can agree on: the strong sense of justice to protect others who need to be protected. Because of this, all of Izuku and his wife's kids all want to become heroes, just like their parents after all, and mostly like their father. However, Izuku does tell his kids about One for All as well, with many of them all excited, hoping one day that they'll get One for All. But he also does tell them about the risk, that One for All was not made for people with quirks, that it shortens a quirk user's lifespan. But even so, a few of them still want the quirk, say it would be an honor to be their father's successor. However, only one of them was only able to get the quirk, but that was in later years. However, as years of peace go by, things begin to change. New attacks, new villains, and a new order. Instead of the typical villains that took up Shigaraki's old philosophy of completely destroying society as a whole, this new threat, this new organization calls for the destruction of the entire world as a whole. This team completely cripples hero organizations, agencies entirely, even defeating the best of heroes from Izuku's classmates and friends. Izuku and a few others being that of Bakugo and Shoto, alongside Mirio and many others, still stand their ground against this new organization. This organization's name, the Order of Chaos, which, like I said before, their entire purpose, destroying the entire world and plunging it into chaos. The battle between Hero Society and the Order of Chaos rages on for years and years and years. That it never stops. Even to this day, as many of Izuku's kids are now in middle school, the battle still rages on between pro-heroes and the Order of Chaos. As many civilians feel many unrest, feeling like their lives are never going to change with all the attacks from the Order of Chaos, that the heroes aren't doing much. To be honest, it feels like it's back to the days when All Might retired, even though the current symbol of peace still stands tall. There are people who still have hope, who still keep on going further, and that also counting the symbol of peace's kids as well. All the Midoriyas train day in and day out with their quirks, with getting stronger, hoping to stand side by side with their father one day. Maybe not now, and maybe not tomorrow, but they still want to be just like their dad. However, tragedy would struck the Midoriya family as in a battle in Tokyo Shinjuku with one of the leading members of the Order of Chaos fighting against Koda and Katsuma, which the two became good friends and also rivals, while also growing up to become heroes as well. But little do they know, this battle would end up being their last, which the two end up dying in this fight. Because of this, many civil unrest happen, with even many friends and family members crying at the death of two promising upcoming heroes, especially Izuku, since he was the one who inspired them to to become heroes just like him. With that, things begin to change. Everything begins to change. The battle between the Order of Chaos turned even more brutal, more violent, not just on one side, but on both sides as well, with pro-heroes even beginning to murder members of the Order of Chaos. Even the Order of Chaos began to become more dirty by attack. They were okay with doing anything if it meant spreading chaos, even attack pro-heroes' families as well, with not even holding anything back by making their enemies suffer no matter what. All of this was happening all over the world, not just in Japan. It was happening in North America, South America, the European countries, and even in Central Asia countries as well. All of this was causing so much panic. Civilians even began thinking that killing members of the Order of Chaos was the only way to do things, even the children. However, Izuku, on the other hand, never strayed to killing members of the Order of Chaos. Not once. He still defeated them. However, it was only until one day many members of the Order of Chaos tried to attack his family by attacking his kids and his wives. However, his kids, on the other hand, were all preparing for things like this to happen and trained day in and day out. Even a few of his wives who became retired pro-heroines were able to defend themselves. But this was the moment that made Izuku snap. This was when his family, his kids, were attacked and nearly killed. With that, Izuku, or rather Deku, the symbol of peace, was also the symbol of death for many members of the Order of Chaos. Seeing this, many of Izuku's children couldn't accept that this was their father, that this was the person that inspired them to become heroes, to protect others who need to be protected, even protect themselves. However, a few of his kids have accepted that this is the choice that Izuku has made to keep them all safe, to keep everyone safe. But a few of them will not accept this. They can't accept that their father has basically taken the path of killing people just to keep others safe. With that, the children were split, but even so, they can't agree one thing. Their father killing somebody on live television is kind of something that they would never want to see ever again. More years have gone by, and now all of Izuku's children are now in high school. At least the oldest children are. With that, a few of them want to train to become heroes, while at least two of them are also training to become heroes, but also becoming that of, support engineers as well, which means that they have a lot more, things to catch up on after all. But four of them don't even plan on becoming heroes anymore. Instead, they plan on just becoming that of general course students, but also playing the roles as vigilantes as well. But even with each sibling's different choices and different decisions, they all still want to strive to be and protect others, save lives, just like their father has always taught them. However, there is one thing that they all have found out at a young age. Fate, or rather the world, is always cruel. One day, during their time at UA High, all of many students, alongside many of Izuku's friends' future children as well, were attacked by the Order of Chaos. The entire school, all from faculty to students to even non-combat students being general ed, support corps, business, were all attacked and were all slaughtered without mercy. However, a few students were able to fight back and were able to stand on their own to protect themselves, alongside a couple of teachers as well. But even so, many lives were lost on that day. Many lives were taken. Young, promising lives. With that, even the lives of many friends of the young Midoriyas as well. With that, many of them couldn't help but sit by and do nothing after such a brutal and merciless attack. They all now decided on this day that they would prevent something like this from ever happening again and again and again. With that, they all decided to train even harder as heroes, to take the fight to the Order of Chaos. With that, the war between the new generation and the Order of Chaos was starting to begin, as the children of Izuku Midoriya and the new generation of Hero Society began taking the fight to them, attacking many of their strongholds, capturing and defeating their strongest members, and even pushing back in the fight. With that, However, the Order of Chaos already had a plan to engulf the world into destruction from early on. That being going back in time to kill Izuku Midoriya and all of the future top-ranking pros that would always be in their way, with also preventing many of the future children of the Midoriya family from ever being born as well. This would be their ultimate fuck you to the number one hero and his family. But little did they know, their plans would be impeded due to a certain pink-haired Midoriya boy, after all, basically hacking into their systems and aware of their plan months ago, and was able to develop a time machine, allowing them to go back in time to fight them and protect their future and their family. With telling his siblings about this plan and also about how he's going to counteract it, they all were somewhat skeptic of their, inventor brother with that. But soon, one of the others, being that of a boy with that of light blondish hair, also basically agreeing on the plan, with a few also agreeing as well, but a few not willing to do so. However, it's the only plan that they have right now, and if they don't take it, their family will be destroyed, and the world will be destroyed as well. With soon, all of the children of the Midoriya family prepare to go back in time to a time where their father was still training as a hero, as his children all prepared to save their family and the world. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to read what you guys have to say. Also, don't worry, this is just the prologue chapter. I'll probably post the next chapter in a couple of days or so. And also, a little bit of a heads up, this What If series may take a while to come out, actually. Just like the Rise of the Shonen Heroes, it's going to be a while to, make scripts, because I want to make sure that these stories flow pretty nicely after all. Also, since Izuku has a lot of kids, I need to give each kid that of a personality and also their own character traits as well. So there's that too. And plus, it's just going to be fun to see the reaction that Izuku has, especially his future wives after all, when they meet their kids. So yeah. So if you guys like this, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Also, check out my Discord, gaming channel, and main channel alongside my Patreon in the description below. So with all that said, this is Leon Mookie signing out, and I hope you guys take care. Later.